Hi Julie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Algazara. So, this is your first time in Mexico with EchoTest. How do you like our country, our people, our food?
Oh, well, I always love coming to Mexico. This is my third time here. I've been here with Adrian Ballou 2 times before, and the last time was actually 7 years ago on my birthday, so it was a very special occasion. I had everyone in the audience sing me happy birthday at midnight. So it's very exciting to return back with my own project, EchoTest, and have Julia set this up playing with Souls and with Milets, 2 fabulous artists as well. So it's a great night of music. I'm very excited to have it put together.
So, how was EchoTest formed, and how did you decide to call Marco Macara to form this?
Well, it's a curious thing. Actually, it's all because of Facebook. I gave up my apartment in Los Angeles. I've been a nomad for the last 5.5 years, and I was on tour with Crimson Project, featuring Adrian Ballou, Tony Levin, Pat Mastelotto from King Crimson, and I had the opportunity to be in Europe, so I thought I will take advantage of this opportunity, and I wrote on Facebook, if anybody wants to play some shows, I'd be happy to perform in Europe. And Marco reached out to me and said he could set something up in Italy, and I thought, oh, okay, an excuse to go to Italy, sounds wonderful. And I didn't think we were going to start a band or make albums, but once we started playing together and coming up with a program for the show, we decided that we really had a good musical chemistry, and we just kept writing and recording album after album, and now we're on our 4th album, Daughter of Ocean.
It's a bit weird of hearing of a bass duo with such a profound sound like yours. How do you feel your sound and Marco's sound complement?
Well, his strengths are my weaknesses and vice versa, so it's sort of like a yin and yang. I play a 6-string bass, so I have higher strings. I use a MIDI pickup. I use lots of effects. Marco also uses effects, but he also uses the funk fingers, which are made famous by Tony Levin, like kind of 2 ends of a drumstick to get a very punchy attack. He uses slide. He sometimes puts clips on the bass to prepare it. So we both make the bass sound different than what a bass should sound, and depending on the song, sometimes I'm playing the bass part, sometimes Marco's playing the bass part, and vice versa. So really it's just a matter of what the song needs, and we are always trading ideas back and forth, and we inspire each other a lot.
So Marco has described your music as futuristic, artistic and bold, and you have described it as cinematic and unexpected. Can you explain a bit these labels?
The name EchoTest comes from a heart exam, so we like to think that our music is really just coming from the heart, and we don't try to think that much when we write it. So I think in the end, when you hear it back, it kind of transports you to another world, and that's why I say cinematic, and Marco says futuristic, because I feel when you listen to it with the respect, like, with headphones, or, not just having it on in the background, like actually really focusing and listening, I think you can really be, transported to another place, kind of like a Pink Floyd experience.
So you've mentioned you play this very nice 6-string bass with 2 extra high note strings. How do you feel playing with this instrument? How is it different from playing?
Well, it plays more like a guitar, but not really. I call it my hard to play bass, easy to play guitar, because it's sort of in between the two. The scale is a little bit longer than a regular guitar, so it is easier for me to play, being used to the scale of a bass. But I can play chords on it, and I approach it very differently than I approach just a traditional bass. And Marco, because he plays the 5-string and has the low B, it became obvious to me when we started playing together that this was the perfect instrument to use for this bit, because otherwise we'd be fighting too much for the same frequencies. And it enables me with the MIDI to really experiment and make the bass sound like a keyboard or a guitar sometimes.
So you play in EchoTest, you have your solo project, you play with Adrian Ballou and many other groups. Would you say your role as a bassist is different in every single project? Yeah,
it's definitely different in every project. With Adrian, of course, we have, I play more of the role of like rhythm guitar, lead bass, so there's a lot more space for me. In EchoTest, there's a lot going on, and I use a lot of effects, and I can't play as expressively. If I were to bend the notes and play like as much as I dig in with Adrian, like my technique is totally different, because when I play one note I can get 4, and I'm doing a lot of delicate looping, so it's a lot more of like the footwork, making sure the hands are in the proper technique. Where it was with Adrian, I can really just be crazy and wild, and both things are fun. So, and then of course playing with other projects, it always depends on what's going to service the music the best. I think that's the most important role as a bass player.
How do you feel about playing with Souls and Milets tonight?
Like I said before, I think it's very exciting to be playing with Souls and Milets tonight because I'm big fans of their music too. So it's always good when you have like a totally excellent night of music that you know you're confident that the audience is really going to enjoy and be very interested in. And you know, we're sort of like this young generation of math prog rockers, and there aren't that many of us. So it's cool that we're all uniting this both, you know, this very international project, both EchoTest and Souls, and you know, having Milets here too, you know, bringing around all the people, all the young proggers of the world to play here in Mexico City. It's exciting.
Have you had any difficulties in the music industry for being a woman, or do you consider women have different opportunities than men do?
I mean, I try not to ever let it get me down. Of course, I've had experiences in, you know, in clubs where I don't feel maybe as respected. Never on tour with Adrian, but you know, sometimes with smaller bands, you know, I definitely feel that being a woman can, you know, you have a lot of challenges because people might not necessarily believe that you know what you're doing, and but you know, with Adrian it's a completely different story. He's got a level of respect, so when he walks in the door, people are going to automatically respect him and whoever comes in with him and his band. So I do think though that we are breaking new territory, and that you're seeing more and more women, you know, at front of house doing sound, on the stage, being more involved, and that's a great thing. So I like to be part of that revolution.
What advice would you give to all women who want to follow your steps in becoming an accomplished musician?
For me, I mean, it never really mattered if I was a girl or a boy or whatever. It was just, this is the kind of music I want to make, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me that I can't play this music, that I'm, you know, it's not feminine enough, or that I shouldn't be playing the bass because it's not a girl instrument, you know. Just, if you want to do something, just do it and be better than everybody else and not care about what anybody thinks, because it's really their problem if they have a problem with you. So.
And finally, quick advice for bass players who are starting to play.
Well, kind of the same thing. It's like, don't think so conservatively, and you know, if somebody, you know, says you can't play with a pick or you can't play through pedals, you know, I like to think that you just use the bass as a vehicle for making music and experiment with it and find your own voice as best you can.